Hi everyone, my name is Deanna and welcome to my channel about stories that happen in life. Sit back, pour yourself a hot drink. I think this is going to be very interesting. Well, before we start, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a lot of new and useful videos. Living in Russia, I am surprised by something every time. The state of the roads and wages, which can only be seen under a microscope, or the prices for housing and utilities, which are rising like yeast. And of course, the prices of goods in our stores. It would seem, what else can be surprised here? But it turns out this is not the whole list of Russian surprises. This year, my vacation fell on the most beautiful month of the year, May, and like any other citizen in our country, I wanted to spend it with pleasure. In the first part of the vacation, I planned to relax at the dacha, and in the second part to go somewhere on the sea. However, very much delayed in finding a good place to rest and somewhere to go I failed. One day, my cell phone rang. Called my good friend Sashka. Pashka, here's the deal. Come with me to Voronezh. We'll have a rest, meet girls, maybe you'll finally get married. And this was told to me by a man who has never been married himself. Why would I do that? Where will we live there? I asked, pretending to be at least a little interested. In the dormitory, of course, replied Sashka. No, I don't want to do that. What dormitory? There are minimal amenities and noise, and I like silence. I will not go, I answered thoughtfully. My friend tried to persuade me for a while, but I was adamant. I didn't want to get into some absurd situation with him again. It couldn't be any other way with Alexander the Bad. The very name spoke for him. My vacation was approaching its golden mean, with only 14 days left. I went home to Vladimir. The next day I was awakened by a strong knock at the door of my apartment. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. The uninvited guest was Sashka. He reeked of alcohol and could barely stand on his feet. However, at the sight of me, as usual, he began to speak without greeting. Pash, let's go to Voronezh. It's so important to me. Yesterday, a girl blew me off again. I feel so bad. Vidya, my colleague, found a wife there. He's living happily ever after. I want to do the same. Let's go. Sashka mumbled under his breath. First, get some sleep and then we'll decide, I answered. My friend slept for about 6 hours, and the first thing, opening his eyes, immediately went into a second defense. What's up? Shall we go? Sashka looked at me with a joyful smile. I decided to support my friend, but took his word of honor that this is the last time I agree to such trips. At 20 o'clock, we were already hitchhiking to our destination. We managed to get there only closer to 4 a.m. At this time, the hostel is mostly closed, so we decided to have a snack first in a 24-hour institution in the Mesto Cafe. We decided not to hurry because the hostel where Sashka had arranged for us to be accommodated didn't open its doors until 7 o'clock. You know, I met a very pretty girl, Anja, on the internet. She's got a friend who I think is good for you. They're single, so you could meet them tonight. I wrote to Anna that we'll come over. Sasha started talking all of a sudden. Let's get settled first, and then we'll make plans for the day. I want to take a shower first of all, I answered, and my friend agreed with me. As you might expect, the ad for renting rooms in the dormitory, Sasha found on the flea market. That's exactly the type of building we came to at about 8 a.m. frankly speaking. I thought that such buildings have long outlived themselves, but I was completely wrong. We were met by a very thin old woman. She greeted us politely and gave us the keys to the room. I did not like the room at once, 13. However, it was cozy enough inside. I can't say that it was luxurious, but we could stay there for a couple of days. The only thing that perturbed me was the common toilet and shower for the whole house. So I ran, first of all, to rinse out of the way before anyone took the sacred place of the hostel. While I was in the shower, my friend had already managed to arrange a meeting with Anya and her friend. The meeting was set for 6 in the evening at Saliko Bellucci's restaurant. I wore jean shorts and a short-sleeve shirt. It was hot, so I decided that dressing like that for a date would be okay. Sashka dressed about the same way. On the way to the restaurant, we went to a flower store and bought a bouquet of 7 white roses each. At 17:30, we were already there. Sashka said that it was necessary to arrive early to order at least slices in advance. I agreed with him as he had more experience. At 5 to 6, Anya and her friend Dina joined our table. The girls were beautiful. I noticed at once that they behaved rather modestly. The whole evening passed in a very warm conversation. The girls told us about themselves. They also gave us a lot of advice on where to go in the city in the first place. Closer to 22 hours, they started to go home. We accompanied them to the cab, having agreed to see them the next day at the same time. We reached the dormitory at about 23. I decided to go to the shower again, but I had to wait for a while because it was busy. We went to bed at about 1 o'clock in the morning. During the night, I slept very badly. First, I had some nightmares about falling from a high building. Then I started to have a headache. As a result, I woke up because I felt someone staring at me in the dark. At first, when I opened my eyes, it seemed to me that someone was sitting next to me on a chair. However, I closed them again out of fright. My heart was pounding frantically. I opened my eyes again and saw a silhouette near the closet, at the door to the room, but I couldn't make it out. At that moment, Sashka began to mutter something in his sleep. I was distracted by him. And when I turned my head again to the entrance to the room, there was no one there. I did not tell my friend what had happened. That same evening, we went out again. All day long, the event of the night did not leave my mind. I wondered who it was, and how did he appear in the room if it was locked from the inside. I didn't want to drink, in case it was a consequence of alcohol. The girls told us about the sights. Sashka suggested we go together to some exhibition. The girls agreed and decided that we would go to see an exhibition of paintings. I was about to go home, but Sashka suggested a night walk. Anya also wanted to take a night walk in Voronezh. But here my wishes and Dina's coincided. We didn't want to. The guys had to walk alone. Dina went home by cab, and I also to the hostel. When I arrived after the date, I went to the bathroom. I had just soaked myself from head to toe, and suddenly the water stopped flowing and the light went off. And then I felt that look in my eyes again. I pulled back the curtain and saw big eyes that seemed gigantic with fear. I started screaming in terror, and suddenly the light came on and the water started running again. There was no one in the bathroom but me. What the hell? I thought. I rinsed off the soap and ran to my room. I decided to sleep with the light on. I couldn't sleep for a long time. My heart was racing. As a result, I didn't fall asleep and Sashka came in from a walk. "Oh, why are you awake?" he asked me. Yes, in the phone stuck something. I grudgingly answered. Sashka quickly ran to the shower and as quickly fell asleep. Soon I began to fall asleep. I dreamed about all sorts of nonsense. I woke up. It was already light outside, but the time was still early. The clock read 5 o'clock a.m. Today we were going to go to the museum in the afternoon, so I decided to find a list of museums in Voronezh on the internet. 3 hours later, Senya woke up. I said my suggestions about the museum and he agreed. In the afternoon we had a cultural time. I finally made up my mind and invited Dinah to go for a walk in the evening without the company of Sasha and Anya. She gave a positive answer. The evening turned out to be wonderful. Dina and I walked in the city center, then just wandered the streets. The weather was nice. Toward 1 o'clock in the morning, I walked her home and kissed her on the cheek like a well-mannered man should. She was braver than I was and kissed me on the lips. The kiss was so long that for a second I thought I had forgotten where I was. But this pleasant action was stopped by the ringing of my phone. It was bad. He said he was going to sleep over at Ange's tonight, so the room was all mine. However, with plans for a closer relationship with Dina, I was still apprehensive. I didn't want to scare away the person I liked with my quick moves for the umpteenth time in my life. Dina went home. I went to the dormitory. It was hot, but I was afraid to take a shower. I decided that I would take a shower in the morning because you sweat again during the night and have to wash in the morning. I fell asleep pretty quickly, woke up too. The clock said 4 o'clock a.m. It was already light enough, so I decided that the uninvited guest wouldn't come today. I grabbed some soap and a towel and went into the shower. There were no windows in the shower, so the light always had to be on. I got under the shower and started soaping myself up. Suddenly, the water stopped flowing again and the light turned off. I tensed up. "Hello?" someone asked. "Yes," I answered. "A tree fell on the wires, so there will be no light or water for a few hours," said an unknown person. "Yeah, I see," I mumbled. I wiped off the soap with a dry towel, got dressed, and went to my room. Sashka was awake too. They go around waking everyone up with their stories about light and water. "They won't let me sleep," he moaned. We drank tea together, and he fell asleep again. I decided not to waste time and to take a nap for another hour. The dreams were terrible again. As a result, I woke up feeling that I was drowning in the lake. It turned out that Sashka woke up and spilled a mug of water right on me. Tonight, we decided to meet the four of us in our usual restaurant. It was 21 o'clock on the clock, and we started to get ready for the meeting. We arrived closer to 10 o'clock p.m. The girls were beautiful. These fitted dresses, heels, and light makeup emphasized their beauty very accurately. We sat there until midnight. We decided not to go anywhere else and went straight to the dorm. Sashka fell asleep quickly as usual, and I fidgeted a bit and fell asleep too. I woke up with a feeling that someone was staring at me. When I opened my eyes, I saw a young guy staring at me in the darkness. I became scared. I started reciting prayers and closed my eyes. When I opened them, there was no one else in the room. The girls couldn't meet us today, so we decided to spend the whole day walking around the mall. In the evening, we took a shower and decided to treat ourselves to a beer and dried fish. I don't remember falling asleep. Only I woke up again to the gaze of some man. This time I could see him. It was a guy in his 20s in a wheelchair. I closed my eyes, opened them, and he was gone. In the afternoon, I went to the nearest store to buy a snack. On my way back to the dormitory, I saw a guy in a wheelchair. I thought it was the night guest, but when I got closer, I realized I was wrong. It was the day we were leaving. We invited the girls to visit us. They agreed to come at the end of July. When we were packing, I decided to tell Sasha about the uninvited guest. He was surprised and decided to ask the woman who gave him the keys about the incident. It turned out that in their dormitory lives a guy in a wheelchair who in the past was an animator in some Quest establishment. And now, because of his health, he can't do it, but sometimes likes to play jokes on the guests. What a joke he makes. I was relieved. I concluded that I was normal after all. In the evening, we finally went home. We arrived early in the morning. I got into the bathroom and drank a mug of beer. I slept a little bit, and towards lunch I went for a walk. I went to the store to buy something to eat and went to the park. I got home in the evening. I drank coffee, took a shower, and went to bed. I woke up to the feeling of eyes on me. When I opened my eyes, I saw that on the windowsill, a crow was looking at me from the street. The next day, I decided to go to church. What if something happened? What the hell is not to be trifled with?